welcome you to Dallas, Texas. 10 days to go in the NBA's regular season. And this afternoon, second game of our doubleheader, a critical one for that 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. Right now, the Mavericks hold the 8th spot with a 3-game lead with 6 to play. But if the Suns get the victory today, that would cut it to 2 and also give Phoenix the tiebreaker should these two teams finish up even. So a critical game, especially for the Phoenix Suns. Good afternoon, everyone. Along with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, Mike Breen on hand. Lisa Salters will join us shortly. These two teams fighting for that final playoff spot, but they are stumbling to the end. They've had some bad losses, and it's a matter of who wants it the most. It's hard to tell recently. Let's look at Dallas, Jeff, first, because they're the team in that 8th spot. What's key for them to finally clinch their berth?
Well, I think they need to change their mentality. Not worry about Phoenix catching them, but worry about catching Utah, who's in 7th. They would have a winnable playoff series if they got to 7th versus Denver, and I think the key to that is Jason Terry. He's had a 5-game mini slump when it comes to shooting the ball. If he gets back on track, Dallas could win a first-round series versus Denver.
They finish 8th. They get the Lakers in the first round. It's probably a quick exit. Meanwhile, Phoenix, they'd love to have the Lakers in the first round, so they just want to get in. What's their key to overtaking Dallas?
Well, don't give any more games away. The bottom line, if you're the Phoenix Suns, win out the rest of the way. They have to play solid basketball at home and also on the road, and it starts with their point guard, the floor general, Steve Nash, has averaged over 6 points more since the All-Star break. The last 3 games has elevated his game, not just scoring the basketball, but as we know, still facilitating.
They could win out the rest of the way and still not make it, but today is crucial. They lose today and they're done. Meanwhile, the Taco Bell starting lineups, Grant Hill still has played every game this season, has never done that in his career. Matt Barnes up front with him, with O'Neal, of course, Nash, and Jason Richardson for Alvin Gentry. And for the Dallas Mavericks, Josh Howard back in the lineup again with Eric Dampier and Nowitzki up front, Jason Kidd and J.J. Barea in the backcourt for head coach Rick Carlisle. Dallas has been tough at home, especially with Howard in the lineup. With more on that, let's check in for the first time today with Lisa Salters. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Mike. Well, as you said, Josh Howard is playing this afternoon, but that left ankle that's bothered him on most of the season is not doing all that much better. I spoke to him just a few minutes ago. He said there's still a lot of swelling in the ankle, and he's still experiencing quite a bit of pain. So I said, Josh, why not sit out? And he said, we need this game too much. So what the Mavericks are going to try to do is just limit him to 20 minutes. In the last game he played in on Wednesday against Miami, he played 29 minutes. He said he believes that was a problem. Those extra minutes led to some swelling, so they're going to try to keep him to 20 minutes this afternoon. Mike?
Well, they certainly need him if they have hope of doing damage. He is a difference maker for this team, according to Rick Carlisle, but obviously not 100%.
I never understand these arbitrary minutes. 20 minutes versus 19 versus 21 versus 24. To me, I don't know how we've come to this in the NBA, but playing guys for these set amount of minutes, to me, makes it very difficult on Rick Carlisle.
Well, we're very similar. It's old school. Coach goes up to the player and says, can you go or can you not go? And then the decision is made from there. Not 20 minutes. Either play full speed or sit out and we'll try to get it done.
To be fair, sometimes it's the team doctors who will say, limit the minutes.
Yeah, I don't trust those guys either sometimes. No, because, hey, they've got one thing on their mind. They don't want guys to get hurt, right? So I've never believed in the team doctor approach, because the team doctor reports to the team, not to the individual.
Do you trust your own physician?
Jim Muntz is one of a kind. Yes, I do trust him.
Meanwhile, Dallas has been terrific at home. It's on the road that they've had so many problems. They're 27-9 here, and that includes an 0-4 start. They lost their first 4 home games of the season. Since then, they've been terrific in front of their fans. As Richardson down low gets the double team. But with both of these teams, as we said at the top, you just don't know what you're going to get. As Nash gets it to O'Neal, this short. And it's not just game to game, as Howard tracks it down. It's been quarter to quarter, half to half. Howard hits it. And, Mark, that's been disappointing for both head coaches to see the inconsistency at such important time of the year.
And that's the reason why these two teams are fighting for their playoff lives, because of the inconsistent play. Not just from day to day, but from possession to possession, and also, more importantly, on the defensive end.
Well, if you talk to many with Dallas, they'll say the main reason for the inconsistency is Kidd misses has been the injury problem, mainly Josh Howard. But it's more than that. Would you agree, Jeff?
Well, I think injuries are a huge factor. Certainly, Nash, very good move to the rim, but like you said, Mike, when you come out and you lose to Memphis on the road and don't play well and allow them to shoot over 50%, it's a mentality as much as it is an injury.
That was Friday night in Memphis. Dallas losing as Howard comes out hot.
I'm trying to figure it out. So the guy's taking 3 shots, and you limit him to 20 minutes? Something just doesn't match.
O'Neal puts it in. You know, the other day they were talking, as Lisa mentioned, there was a certain amount, but he went beyond that. It really is up to the players to say, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. I can play as much as you need me to.
Well, he's one of the great starters in the game. His first quarters are off the chart, statistically.
He usually is amongst the NBA leaders and sometimes has been at the top of most double-digit first quarters. And he's given them a lift to start here. O'Neal gets hacked. And Shaq will take some free throws. The thing about Howard is he's such a good player at both ends of the floor when he's at his best. He's been up and down. And obviously the injury is a part of it. A former All-Star. O'Neal to the line. Shaq shooting at 61% from the line this season. Close to a career high for him. Rick Carlisle, nobody wants Howard in the lineup more than, well, no more than Howard, but Carlisle as well.
You could just see the bounce in the body of Steve Nash. He has his foot on the gas pedal, and he's looking to be a scorer early on in this ballgame.
Well, Friday night against Sacramento, Phoenix threw up 139 points on the board. They're the #1 scoring team in the NBA, the best shooting team in the NBA, as Nowitzki long on that one. Nash said it's going to be a fun afternoon because it's nice to play in such a big game. Well, they've had a lot of big games as Richardson fires away.
Yeah, what is this with a big game? Josh Howard saying he didn't play the other night because it's not a big game. This is a big game. That's why I'm playing. Every game has the same value, as Josh Howard must be wanting to reconsider, and Grant Hill scores. But I'm serious. Every game's a big game in this league. And that's the problem. The whole mentality that certain games are big, other games aren't, I totally disagree with.
Well, that's sometimes the difference in that mindset is the difference between one of the good teams and one of the also-rans.
Not only that, the difference between being 3 games back and being comfortably put into the playoffs, because you don't consider those games against Memphis or Minnesota important ball games.
Or Sacramento, you know. Phoenix lost to Sacramento at Sacramento, giving up 126 points.
Howard the block, but it hit the backboard first. But you like the defensive hustle from Dallas. And we've seen this, as we watch the replay on this, we've seen from both teams, guys, both Phoenix and Dallas, you'll see stretches where, wow, they're playing some pretty good defense, but it's just not there all game long.
Well, both teams have taken a step backwards this year defensively. Subtly. Some in 3-point defense, some in 2-point defense.
J.J. Barea, the nice high arcing banker. The two teams exchanging buckets early.
Do you realize what you just said? The Phoenix Suns took a step back defensively? That's saying a lot.
That's hard to do.
Grant Hill's jump shot is good. Now, last year, the Suns, they were 13th in the NBA in opponents' field goal percentage. That's right around the middle of the pack. They weren't horrible.
No, you look at it, and their 3-point field goal defense was pretty good last year. And one of the big differences in the season is they used to shoot a lot more threes and give up a lot fewer threes. This year, they're on the negative side of that 3-point game most nights.
Both teams pushing. We could have a lot of points here this afternoon as Barea lost it momentarily. Nice recovery. J.J. Barea's had a nice season for the Dallas Mavericks. Getting a lot of playing time, and a foul on the entry pass will go against Ampere.
See, I have a problem, and I'm trying to stay controlled when I say this. But if you let J.J. Barea walk into 2 layups, ask yourself, how much do we really care about making a push and a hard push?
Well, you saw Vigenti there. His team has struggled on the road. Their last 10 road games, they're giving up an average of over 120 points per game.
Excuse me? What was that?
Their last 10 road games, they were giving up 120 points per game.
Wow.
Barnes. Richardson. Inside, flips up, wild shot. Won't go. And he'll go to the free throw line. Dampier's already sitting down with 2 fouls, so Ryan Hollins has checked in. Richardson getting fortunately bailed out.
I think if you're either one of these teams, the mentality defensively, first and foremost, has to be getting back in transition. Getting back 5 guys loading to the basketball and stopping dribble penetration. That would show a commitment to trying to win this game.
Richardson, of course, obtained in the trade early this season from Charlotte. A lot of guys played early with the Bobcats on these teams. Richardson, Jared Dudley, Ryan Hollins, and Matt Carroll with Dallas. Game featuring former Bobcats.
Maybe that's why they're struggling to get in the playoffs.
Oh, that's a cheap shot.
That's not a cheap shot. They've never made the playoffs.
Kid back out to Nowitzki. Still have an outside shot this year. As Nowitzki knocks down the shot. Nowitzki, with his latest scoring surge, he's up to 5th in the NBA in scoring. Is Nash able to dump it in? Now, this pace, obviously Phoenix loves this pace. Jason Kidd doesn't mind playing it, but does it favor either team, Mark?
Well, to me, it favors the Phoenix Suns because that's the style they want to play at. They are a team that pushes the basketball. They try to get quick offense. If you're the Dallas Mavericks, you have to pick your spots, when to run with them and when to make them play defense.
Pretty post move for Nowitzki. Took his time as the shot clock was winding down. Shaq inside against Hollins. Banks it in. And a foul. And a chance for a 3-point play for the Big Cactus. Ryan Hollins picks up his second already.
If you're fighting for the playoff spot, there's no nicknames here. These teams are fighting for the eighth seed. Please leave the nicknames alone, Mr. Breen.
None?
No nicknames.
I can't give one.
Only this guy has a new nickname. He watched the movie The Notorious. Came up with his own new nickname. Would you like to share it with the country?
I'm the notorious JVG. That was a great movie, though. Great movie. You got it. Very good.
Well, former film star Shaquille O'Neal throws up an air ball on that free throw. But his team up by 2. We approach the midway point, first quarter. A critical game for the Phoenix Suns. They're off to a good start. Phoenix Suns down 3 games to the Dallas Mavericks for that final playoff spot. As they wind down the regular season, they know they've been disappointing, but they're trying to keep the faith.
And all we've talked about the last, really, the 3 weeks is that we have to put ourselves in a position where this game will mean something.
We're still alive. We got a big game with Dallas. It's it's kind of a double game, so it should be fun. First of all, we're playing for something. With all the doubting and naysaying and the position we've taken, it's nice to be in a big game.
For us, it should be like a playoff game because basically, that's what it is.
If Phoenix wins today, then they're only 2 back, have the tiebreaker with 5 to play. You look at the remaining schedule. Granted, Dallas has 4 of their 5 games at home where they're tough, but they've got some very difficult competition in those 5 games. The Suns' schedule is a little bit easier, but they have 3 road games. It's all going to go for naught if Phoenix loses today.
Part of the problem for me is, teams I've played with in the past, we look at the schedule and say, okay, well, we should go, this should be our record against these 5 teams because we relied on the defensive end and we were consistent as Dirk knocks down that jump shot. With these 2 teams, when you look at the 5 remaining games or whatever they have left, you don't know. Because they don't rely on the defensive end, any game is winnable for their opponent.
They've had so many games recently, both of them, where you look at the schedule and you say, okay, that's a win, where they wind up losing. Shaq double team inside, throws it down.
That's a big time move from Shaq. Ryan Hollins has to fight physically, getting better post position, and then the double team has to come quicker. If you're going to double, you have to double to get the ball out of his hand.
Grant Hill knocks it down, and Hill with 10 points. He's 5 for 5 from the field. And again, if he could play the final games of this season for the first time in his career, he's going to play all 82. And a few years ago, nobody thought that would have been possible.
Really says a lot about how hard he's worked, and it's good to see a guy that was on his way to being an all-time great back physically able to play.
Speaking of all-time greats, Jason Kidd knocks down his first field goal. Jason Terry's come into the game. Pretty play from Hill. Got hit, and he'll go to the line for 2. So just under 5 minutes remaining here in the first. Suns up by 2, and Alvin Gentry just moments ago. Here's one of his huddles.
Hey, guys, we're okay. Hey, the one thing is that we're going to keep the pressure on them. We got to keep attacking, okay? And I tell you, we can get the ball in the paint anytime that we want it. All right? Anytime that we want it.
Well, that's never really been a problem for them. As first free throw off the mark. Well, Shaq having his way.
You've done your job. Help has to come. 4 other guys have to understand, hey, he's in trouble. Let's get the ball out of Shaq's hand.
Well, Holland's whole body doesn't equal in mass Shaquille O'Neal's one leg. I mean, the guy has no chance in that matchup on the back down.
Hollins has played well since being obtained, but such a difficult matchup. He's got 3 fouls. He sits. Dampier has 2 fouls. So Brandon Bass is in the game. Terry knocks down a 3, and that's one of the bonuses for having Josh Howard is that Terry can come off the bench where he's excelled this season.
And I think when O'Neal's in the game at center, if I'm Dallas,
Traveling violation.
I'm playing Nowitzki at my 5. I'm going to make O'Neal guard out on the perimeter because putting Hollins on him gives you no advantage.
Right now, Robin Lopez, the rookie's in, as O'Neal sits down. Kid looking to post up. Terry, another 3. Back-to-back 3s right off the bench for Jason Terry.
Now, I really don't understand why the Phoenix Suns would look to double-team Jason Kidd on a post-up. At this point, you have to say, Steve Nash, he's yours. Defend him one-on-one because when you double-team, he is finding shoot.
Nash turns it over. Second turnover for Phoenix.
I couldn't. This guy is one of the great passers. He's not an efficient 2-point shooter, Jason Kidd. Make him just back in, and back in.
And he did that time and drew the foul as Nash picks up his first. Our NBA calendar, Tuesday on NBA TV, Fan Night, New Orleans at Miami. Wednesday on ESPN, Portland at San Antonio, Utah at Dallas. All those games, playoff implications. Thursday on TNT, same thing. Philly at Chicago, Denver in LA. And the next Sunday, Dallas at New Orleans, followed by Boston at Cleveland. So many positions still up for grabs. With 10 days to go in the regular season, is Kidd able to put it in? And Dallas up by 5. Nash on the drive, bumped by Terry. So Jason Terry picks up his first foul. Mavericks in the penalty, but the Suns have been struggling from the line, although not this guy. Steve Nash is on pace to set a career high for himself for free throw percentage. He's been incredible from the line this year, shooting at 93%, yet he's only 3rd in the NBA. As the league right now, we've talked about this before, right now the league has a chance, and you see career all-time, he's number 2. The league has a chance to set a record for highest league average in the history of the NBA, and Jose Calderon of Toronto is on pace to break the all-time single-season record. Some great free throw shooting this year. Richardson being attended to. Aaron Nelson, their head athletic trainer. Kidd gets inside. What you can just sense he has the matchup and taking it right to the rim.
And you see the move made by the Phoenix Suns. They bring in Barbosa, and he switches onto Jason Kidd. You just got to do a better job of meeting him outside of the paint.
3 turnovers now for Phoenix. Dallas shooting 65%. Howard, pretty move for Josh Howard. And he's having a typical first quarter, 9 points. Nash, nice backdoor to Barbosa, who's back in the lineup. He played on Friday, had missed 7 games before that. Injuries have been a part for Phoenix, too. Remember, they're without their leading scorer, Mari Stoudemire. Nowitzki knocks down the 3. And the Mavericks have opened up their largest lead of the first period. Nash.
I would say the first team that defends one possession wins.
Both teams shooting just incredible numbers. Nice pass inside. Terry misses it. And there's the goaltend from O'Neal. So Dallas is shooting 67%. Phoenix is shooting 70%. Dallas right now an 8-point lead. Josh Howard back in the lineup and doing what he does best. Get the Mavs off to a hot start. He's got 9 points. Dallas with a chance to pretty much put Phoenix away if they win this afternoon. And after trailing early, they now have the lead. Back in Dallas at the American Airlines Center, and the Mavericks racing to an 8-point lead, 2:18 remaining in the first. Let's check in with Lisa Salters.
Well, Mike, you and I and the rest of the guys were talking about this all weekend, about this Twitter thing and how everyone in the country seems to be doing it. First, what it is, the best way I can describe it is just micro-blogging. You're letting people know what you're doing at any time, very concisely, short little bits. Look at the people who are doing it. Our president, Barack Obama, Lance Armstrong, Tony Hawk's doing it. Peyton Manning. Our very own Rebecca Lobo will be twittering at the Women's Final Four tonight. Shaquille O'Neal and Mark Cuban, though, they're the ones that I've been following this weekend, as well as Paul Pierce. Shaquille O'Neal twittered Mark Cuban yesterday at around noon, and his Twitter basically said, "I'm looking for you, Mark Cuban." But what Shaq didn't know was that Cuban actually twittered him back, and he said this, "You know where I live, Shaq." And he also said, "And make sure to wear your best Shaq Albert outfit to the arena tomorrow." I told Shaq about him. He said he's still just mad about us winning in Miami back in '06. Guys?
Well, he's right about that. As he'll the turnaround, banks it in. Any twittering comments?
No, we are not Twitters, but you never know. You don't know what the future holds. I'm following. We're going to follow Lisa, though.
Antoine Wright in the game as Phoenix goes to his zone. The zone is even giving them problems as Wright fires up a three. That won't go. Matt Barnes, the quick outlet.
And I like the zone by Alvin Gentry to take Jason Kidd out of bullying his two smaller guards in the post.
Which he did right away. Dallas looks like they're in the zone as well. Barbosa for three. That's good. And Phoenix, just like that, back within three.
And you much rather be in a position to play zone out of strength as opposed to weakness. Both of these teams have decided to go zone because of their inability to defend man-to-man.
And nobody's stopping anyone off the dribble here in the first quarter. Wright misses another jumper. Barbosa tracks it down. Dallas, after shooting over 70%, missing a couple. Shot blocked by Wright. A nice defensive play. Here comes Kidd out to Terry. Terry for three. Puts it in. His third three-pointer off the bench here in the first.
First one to 200 wins.
Don't laugh. Already 5 threes for Dallas.
But I've always wondered this about Phoenix. If you can score this easily, and they can, I mean, they're just an outstanding offensive team. Why wouldn't you just try a little bit harder defensively and give yourself a chance to play against anybody, anywhere?
And you see Dallas, most points they've scored in the opening quarter. Nowitzki has it. Shot clock is off. Has it stolen by Nash. He's got to put it up. Just gets it off in time. Comes up short. And that will end the high-scoring first quarter. As expected, plenty of points here in Dallas as these two teams battle for that final playoff spot. Yes, there is some defense. Antoine Wright with a block shot. Other than that, a lot of 8 buckets. Jason Terry off the bench, knocking down 3 threes. Josh Howard with his usual first quarter excellence. And after one, it's a 6-point Maverick lead.
Where the Suns are down by 6. I'm with Suns head coach Alvin Gentry. Alvin, the guys were joking, but not a whole lot of defense being played. They're saying the first one to 200 is going to win. What's going on?
Well, we have to do a better job defensively. I mean, we got to guard guys. We just can't let them take us and back us down there. And then our weak side's got to be much better. We didn't do a very good job that quarter.
We were talking about this yesterday about whether and how you were going to try to slow down Dirk Nowitzki. But at this point, is Dirk hurting you more, or are their outside shooters hurting you more?
Well, we left Jason Terry open, and you can't do that. So the outside shooters has hurt us. He's done a good job, but we've done a good job on him. We just got to make sure that we're getting to the shooters, and then we got to do a better job on one-on-one defense. We can't let them just take the ball and back us down under the basket and lay it in.
All right, thanks for your time. Mike, back to you.
All right, Lisa. Now, guys, you've been critical of their defense, and rightfully so. We have to give some credit to two very good offensive teams.
Well, I think Phoenix is an outstanding offensive team. They have been against any level of competition. Best field goal shooting team in the NBA. Dallas is a good offensive team that appears to be great so far tonight because of the lack of resistance by Phoenix.
Right now, Phoenix, at their pace with their shooting, they'd be the highest shooting team in the NBA in the last 12 years, shooting over 50%, which is an incredible number for a team. Nice defense there from Barbosa. Dragic gets inside, holds it up, and they'll reset. Good transition defense from Dallas. So Barbosa open for three and nails it. In the first quarter, Phoenix shot 61%, Dallas 63%.
And you can give credit to outstanding offensive teams. When you look at the Phoenix Suns, there's no question about it. You prepare to play against them. It's not about stopping them. It's about taking them out of things that they do well. Make it uncomfortable for the team you're facing. And neither team is doing it.
They call the foul on Shaquille O'Neal. As he whacked them up top. That's the first on Shaq. Nowitzki to the free throw line.
Just to interrupt, I didn't see a foul.
He didn't either. You didn't think he got hit there?
I saw a clean block. You might have got him for the little hand check on the way to the basket, but up top at the moment of the shot, that was a good block.
That's the first free throw attempt for Dallas. Here's Nowitzki's numbers. He's been getting to the line 20 times the previous 2 games. Nails both there. 5-point Dallas lead. Opening minute here in the second. Nash getting his usual rest. Barbosa at the point. Jared Dudley. Goran Dragic. Shaq gets it inside. Poked away by Nowitzki. Barea ahead to Terry. Back to Brandon Bass. Gets down. Count it. And one. Excellent fast break for Dallas. Off nice defense.
Excellent fast break, but more importantly on the other end, great job of defending, great help from Dirk Nowitzki. Get it done on the defensive end. You're able to push the ball in transition. Excellent extra pass to Bass. Gets the basket in the contact.
Brandon Bass, you see glimpses of some terrific play. And Bass now in his 4th year. His 2nd year with Dallas. Started off a couple of years playing for New Orleans after 2 years of college at LSU. They say he's mean and provides muscle. He's not a mean guy when you talk to one of the more pleasant guys, but he's mean on the court.
Well, and he's also a very good 17-foot jump shooter who has the ability to put the ball on the floor as well. And when you watch him work out before the game, you see a purpose-driven workout, and it's why he's been able to get better throughout his NBA career.
He credits P.J. Brown for really mentoring him with the Hornets a couple of years and talking about that type of preparation. P.J. Brown's had an impact on a lot of young players. Louis Amundsen just in, makes a nice move. And Dallas, their lead cut to 6. Barea at the point. Jason Kidd, by the way, had 8 assists, no turnovers in that first quarter. Barea, pass deflected and stolen. Dallas a little sloppy here in the second. Dampier back in. He picked up 2 quick fouls, guarding Shaq. O'Neal, Dragic. That won't go.
Shaq has done a very good job early in this ball game throwing out his double team, finding guys on the perimeter.
Bass on the drive, blocked. Amundsen throws it right back at him. Now he's double teamed, spinning, puts up a wild shot. Neely puts it in. Second effort from Bass. Head fake, kicks it out Barea, and a 3-second violation. But you gotta love the effort from Bass.
Well, I love the effort from Bass, and I love the individual defense by Amundsen. 2 times defended him very well. Good shot block right there. Then he got another one. But give Bass credit for his persistence.
And the Suns did a good job of playing hard, solid defense without fouling.
Barbosa back out. Dudley left open, puts up a 3. Jared Dudley obtained in that trade with Richardson from Charlotte. He's been playing some nice basketball for them.
I've always liked him as a player ever since he came out of Boston College.
So we'll take a timeout. As the subs for Phoenix getting a job done here in the second quarter. 2.5 gone by. Second period. Suns, who trail by as many as 8, have pulled within 3.
Thanks for watching ESPN on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
Back in Dallas, both teams shooting over 60% from the field, and the Mavericks with a 3-point lead early in the second as we check in with Lisa Salters once again.
Well, that's right, Mike. I have an injury update on Jason Richardson. At the end of the first quarter, he bruised his left thigh. I believe we have the play. Yeah, he bruised his left thigh in this collision with Jason Terry. Went limping out of the game. He actually asked Alvin Gentry to come out of the game. During the break, they stretched it out, and I'm told by the trainers that he is good to go back in, but he's still trying to work through the bruise there over there on the bench. Mike?
All right, Lisa. We mentioned Lisa in her Twitter earlier. You can actually Twitter her during the game. Now, either you guys have a problem. She's supposed to be working for us, and now she's twitting on the side. This is like a Charlie Villanueva, Scott Skiles thing.
She's got more focus than Charlie Villanueva.
I'll say. She's a multitasker. Terry on the drive, the runner puts it up and in. Terry looking sharp early. He's 5 of 6 from the field off the bench.
You know, but Charlie Villanueva, just to go back to that, Mike, got a lot of criticism for doing that, and I agreed with it initially. And his response was, what's the difference between that and a halftime interview? It's all like media driven. So I'm not sure. I mean, I still don't like it, but I'm not sure it's that bad.
Terry inside, blocked by Lopez. For those who weren't aware of that, Villanueva during halftime of a Milwaukee Bucks game did his twitting, and Scott Skiles, the head coach, was very upset with it. Joe, you guys all have to start adjusting. I like the way you're changing.
Man, hold on. Let me tell you something. I'm not even going to go for the 52 fake out here by JVG, the notorious JVG. It's not going to happen. I played for this guy. Imagine if at halftime I tweeted or twitted or whatever you want to call it, and then tried to give him the same excuse saying it's no different.
I could have had a little problem with that, but I would say this is that I thought Skiles, his perception of it was right. You don't want to give the indication to your fans that you're anything but focused on the game. Whether it's really that bad or not, it's all about the perception.
There's no question about that. As Phoenix has cut it to 1, Barbosa 12 points off the bench in just 9 minutes of play. And we have a screen as they're coming down the floor.
See,
Barbosa
that's a flagrant foul. That's a flagrant foul right there. Jason Terry had the intent to run into Leandro Barbosa because he felt he was fouled at the other end. To me, when you do that, that's at least a technical foul.
This call a personal right now. Let's take a look. Kind of throws a little forearm at him.
That's a flagrant. I totally agree. Went out of his way to get to the body of Barbosa. That's not a basketball play, so I think that's a no-brainer.
Right. Well, definition flagrant unnecessary, and that certainly fits that description. Wasn't a huge shove, but
it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary.
That's right. 4 minutes gone by here in the second. Barbosa's played superb ball off the bench here this afternoon. On the drive against Bass, blocked, and gets the rebound. Nice defensive play from Brandon Bass. Terry's been hot. Dudley trying to smother him. Pokes it away. Terry gets it back. Barea drives to the basket inside. Won't get it to go. Lopez had it. Lost it. Singleton comes up with it. A lot of role players making their presence felt with hustle plays.
Well, that last defensive trip by Bass, that'll get you more minutes on the floor.
Singleton hammered by Amundsen. They're going to call it in the act of shooting. And Richardson apparently is okay. The police will report it, so he's going to come back into the game.
I like what the bench of Phoenix has done. They have played